Good morning. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Road to Wreck. Today's video is packed with action because I still have a lot to catch up on, and I'm only using the good stuff and literally throwing away all of the potential filler. Due to TOA, we're coming towards the end of the series, whether we get wreck or not, and I don't want to be releasing new episodes for several weeks after TOA release, so let's get right into it. This is a really good 528 SOD entry, and something tragic happens. The way we use sharks is as follows. We try to always eat one shark after a maze, so that we can take revenge. I only have space for 2 sharks, and that means I don't get to eat any as panic food. But here, I kind of have to. Unfortunately, what I don't realize is that the ball would put me below the survivable health threshold. I would need at least 18 to 20 HP to have a good chance at surviving the maze, but I eat before the DD ball and get brought to 12. At this point I don't have any sharks left and I'm simply doomed. I actually misplayed it because I could have ticked the ball to be 20 HP when the maze started instead. However, I had not yet been in this situation and didn't think about it well enough in the moment. The only way to have more space is to have a teammate drop their crystal halberd outside of SOD to carry one of my expensive items, but they don't want to risk their halberd during these pretty sketchy SODs, so while I drop my occult, that's still only 2 sharks for me. It is what it is, go next. Next up, we actually get an amazing maiden. We get a really deep stack and our ranger warns us that it might be a quick 30s.
Might be
Yeah.
15, watch out. Maybe not.
Okay. My first chin hits a 0, but the other 2 are big, so we're chilling. After chinning, Maiden is already at 36%. I hit a medium, and the North Mage calls max. It's proccing, which is crazy fast. We hardly leak anything, and turn it into a 109 Maiden. Get a wreck?
Kill here?
Kill.
Correct.
No venge.
Oh!
Oh, kill it!
Oh,
Oh my god!
That's 9.
That was
holy.
almost a wreck.
Fine.
Please kill him.
Kill him. Okay, that's fast.
That is-
155 into Nilo? Smells like another wave breakdown. Once again, the early waves are pretty irrelevant. I'm just thinking about the mid-wave bigs while I'm trying not to lose too many ticks in the early waves. And no, I didn't forget to put in any audio, I just didn't know what to say. Watch and learn, I guess. Okay, this is the first relevant pre-fire. We go for the mage and then the ranger. If the mage doesn't die, I go for the ranger anyway because I know the other mage will back up the mage. We have some more smalls to kill and I get ready for any split from those bigs that turn mage. None do, so I help out the ranger and the meleeer while I'm thinking about my big pre-fires. The next big pre-fire is the triple mage wave. In the meantime, we're kind of falling behind and we're nearing the room cap. This is dangerous and I steer away from my normal rotation to help clean up the room to prevent stalling. When you see me not going for pre-fires, it's always freestyle and I can't teach or explain it really, but what I'm doing is necessary to catch back up. If this means I have to miss a pre-fire, so be it, but we mustn't stall no matter what. We just about managed to get through these triple big waves with no stalls and enter the post cap when the big melee spawn. The south big melee actually starts as mage, so we pre-fire that as from here on out, all the bigs have our full priority. Technically they're the second priority on the list, second to preventing stalls, but since the room cap just doubled, we're nowhere near stalling. As mages, there is a post cap big pre-fire rotation, which you'll just have to learn. Sometimes one of your pre-fires is already taken care of and you need to fill that space by attacking a small. I know this is a tease, but I'm going to leave it at that for today's mage perspective waves breakdown. However, I do want to point out some stuff for the other roles. Rangers have a similar situation as mages actually. They also have certain pre-fires in their rotation that they need to be on the correct tick for. Unlike mages though, they don't only have bigs to pre-fire but also specific smalls that might flash during the cleanup. We don't want any flashers to flash during cleanup, so when the ranger can pre-fire them all, most are dead and the rest are, hopefully, taken care of shortly after. The meleeers have two distinct jobs during late waves and cleanup. Kill bigs first, and then kill lane smalls, because of the same reason as the ranger wants to be on tick for their pre-fires. The lane smalls are flashers. After they've taken care of their bigs and flashers, they just kind of clean up whatever is left, obviously prioritizing melee smalls over anything else. In the meantime, we get a pretty decent Nylocas boss with only one mage phase. This leads into another 528 into Sode. Very nice. The Sode was actually great and I have nothing to point out. It was an average time of 135, and on this good entry, that's a 704 into Zarpus. We're still pacing. We hit 3 hammers on Zarpus and I hit a big BGS. I assumed he was 0 defense, but he wasn't, and I'm the one who's meant to back up first. Because nobody's backing up, Alex and I are going for the backup at the same time. I hit a 0 on my second BGS, so technically no value was lost, but I definitely should have BGS'd earlier. This whole situation kind of confused me, and on top of that I BGS whacked the boss. Good job, dumbass. Somehow, even though I completely griefed the start, we get a 205 and it's still good pace. P1 goes fine and we get a very humble single crab spawn during P2. Unfortunately, we don't swing very hard again and P2 is holding us back. We need a good Verzik. Sub 310 for wreck. This is looking rough.
There's the damage.
We kill Verzik with no further issues and finish the raid on a clean 1230. Not bad, but not wreck. That's a nice raid though. I don't think it's
That is a nice raid. It's 2x, isn't it?
Oh,
I'm sad, Verzik.
Damn, that V2 was so bad.
yeah,
Shit.
that's
Pretty
good.
shit, so too.
Good raid, but we go next. Next up, we get another 528 into Sode. That's the third in a row, but Alex couldn't get below 72 health before the maze starts and chances. And dies. Very unfortunate, and because this has happened a few times on pace now, we started thinking and came up with a solution. Tuki actually spent some time practicing and testing this solution to see if it was viable, and it is. So now we have a way to deal with this otherwise RNG run killer. The solution we found was to wait one tick with the first stall, which means you take one hit splat from the maze. Due to the way the maze works, you don't take everyone else's hit splat on the first tick, only your own. So if you're 80 health, for example, you can take one maze hit, be under 70, and live the maze. Obviously at 99 HP, this wouldn't get you below 70, but at 99 you have a pretty good odds at surviving the maze anyway. The scary HP is around 85 to 90, which you can easily reduce by taking one maze hit. The method is kind of new, and it's really cool to develop improvements to a method nobody has fully worked out yet. This was definitely a highlight of the session, even though it resulted in the death of a sick pace. We were talking about this solution at the bank for a while before we potted this maiden. I'm putting it in the video because something kind of funny happened. You're very observant if you've already noticed, but I'm on Lunars. I'm on Lunars.
Same!
Oh boy. And so is the North Mage. Oh my god. Go next. Next up, I have another great run to show. This maiden is very good and I only have one explanation. Big hits. We insta-zero her, bow big, and we get a pretty deep 16-second proc. That's rare. I wasn't expecting a 16, so I almost didn't switch in time, and I end up losing a tick. Because of that, I stand a few tiles closer to maiden so that my projectile hits maiden quicker. Otherwise, me being off tick might cause strange procs. I keep hitting big bows, and we get a clean stack with great chins. We keep bowing big and actually get a 30s on 50 stack.
Medium.
Come on, big?
Max. Hit 3.
Yeah, got it. Claws ready.
This is good.
Yeah, this is really good.
Drawing.
Get wrecked?
Yeah, it's 109.
Oh, it's funny I say get wreck again, just like in the previous 109. Never wreck though.
That was almost 106. Almost 106. Look at that swing and.
Yeah, we
Jeremy
go this
don't
way,
attack.
but as long as we get the one down in space.
It's one. It's a one down.
I'm swinging.
Oh, it's actually free. What the?
It's free as a rat. Is it? Barely.
Yeah, we got one more swing here.
Okay. Really slow though. Nah, I'll take that.
That's fine. Whatever.
Anything is really good with that.
With that
109.
maiden? Yeah. I really want to talk more about the waves, but it's just not gonna fit. I have too much content that I still need to put out before TOA, and
Fine.
there's no time to process it
There we
all.
have.
I'm saving all the Nylocas so I can do it later. But first things first.
What?
Yeah.
Black tick.
Hey.
Think big.
Huge, Tivo. Oh my
Think
God.
big.
Think big.
Get it here?
There, please. No.
Open system. That's a fucking.
Oh.
That's a scam, but it's so good.
Still. That's very.
Ah!
Ah. Average. Dude, that would have been a 524 entry, maybe. A god boss. It's been a while.
Another 528 entry, and like Alex said, a god boss. It's been a while. Okay, another Sod on very good pace. Let's see if we can hold on to that pace. We get pretty good entry bows and 2 hammers right away. Great start. Now we need to all make sure to get below 70 HP so that we don't have to test our new method for the first time on a 528 entry.
Rock.
We could have procced a cycle earlier if we hit a little bigger. That's pretty unlucky. I also didn't manage to get below 70 HP, but because I'm so close to it, I decide to risk it. The closer to 70 HP, the less risk, and because I hadn't tried our new Sod solution yet, I figured my odds were better to risk it this way rather than to try something new.
Draw.
Then we do our comms to make sure everybody empties their vial, spawns a thrall, and venges up. And I have to spec transfer and DD for the ball. I spec transfer, take a venge, and I'm 14 HP while we DD. This looks very familiar. Last time I ate the shark beforehand, but this time I actually do eat the ball, and I'm 20 HP so I can survive the maze. Learn from your mistakes.
Beautiful.
Because I had to eat the ball, I have no sharks left, and I came out of the maze with just under 50 health. Because we're all DD'd here, it's very hard to tell which orb is mine, and I almost instantly die after the start of P3. This is tragic, especially since our entry was great pace and this Sod was super fast so far. Look at that health, it's still fast, and my teammates clean it up for a 133 Sod. We're still on pace, but it could have been so much better. Holy. Kill it?
Oh, I thought it died there.
Yeah, it disappeared for a sec, didn't it? Zarp trolled us a little, but 207, that's not great, it's also not the worst. Let me just pull up the current rec and see what we need. Okay, so basically if we get the same Verzik, we're 2 ticks off rec. So we need to beat this Verzik by at least 3 ticks to get rec here. Okay, so I've not really talked about P1 much yet, and I want to roughly explain what we do. Basically, 3 people got booked to drain 25% of their spec, and they do this exactly 13 ticks apart of each other. 13 takes, which is 3 4-tick specs and 1 tick transfer. Then we wait until the first person almost regens from 95 to 105, and then we start Verzik before they actually regen. We time it so that I can double spec, transfer Dawnbringer to player 2, and they spec twice, regen, and then have enough for 1 more spec, which is 3 total. Then they transfer to the next person, and that person also got booked, so they can spec 3 times as well. This way we're constantly speccing and pretty much guarantee that we kill her by the end of all of our specs. This P1 was pretty smooth, although I did get nuked and I couldn't get back up to full health before P2 started. I also didn't manage to pod up for the first hit, which is quite bad. During P2 we get a humble single crab spawn and I get the purple on my side. I'm meant to death charge and thrall between P1 and P2, but because I was free to play stats from brewing so much, I could only get one of the 2 off before crab spawned. I always choose to spawn a thrall over the depth charge because thralls are just way too good. Much better than 25% spec anyway. Unfortunately, because of the way we order things, nobody got depth charge from that purple crap. But that's just the way it is sometimes.
Need to swing harder though.
Like Alex just said, our P2 damage isn't great again, and it seems that in order to get wreck on this raid, we're getting to a point where we might have to rely on a 1-down reds. Before I make any further comments about the raid, I just want to apologize again for the awful quality of this footage, but there is nothing I can do about it now. I fixed the issue, so you're gonna have to just deal with it until pretty much the end of the series. Okay, so do you remember what I said about needing that 1-down? This is it. I have 60 spec, so I decide to claw for higher accuracy. Now the big question is, can the Chellies hit 7%?
0-0.
Fuck. We're not entirely sure at this point if we still have a chance. I do realize, however, that this P3 has to be insane. We're gonna need something like a north or east kill during webs. I would like to have more to say, but during P3 there isn't much going on. We just need to make sure to survive crabs and to do a lot of damage. The way of optimizing damage is to, well, first of all, not lose ticks, but we also pre-venge during P2 so that we can revenge at the start of P3, right as we take some damage. We also spawn one more thrall during P3, because most P3s take about a minute, just like thralls. If we revenge during her first few attacks, we get one more venge before webs start, which means we can cast a total of 3 venges during P3. Other than that, the tank drags her 1 tile closer to her web spot, which means she walks for 1 less tick to get into position. This reduces the lost ticks for everybody except the tank to 0. Other than that, we brew super combat between attacks to never have to attack while brewed down. And that's it. That's all we can do.
Ah, so close.
It's tied top 3, lol.
Damn.
Oh,
Oh, it's purple! It's purple!
Unfortunately, like I said, we needed something like an east or even north kill, but we get a west kill, which is 10 to 15 ticks slower, since each attack during webs is 5 ticks apart. 12, 25. 26, basically. Yeah, we would have had to kill her north. That absolutely was not happening. Unlucky. That's still a very good time though, and this raid was very inspiring. We were absolutely sure after this that we could get it. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. A 1225 and an Avernic in the pocket. Not bad. The next video is going to cover a couple more runs and I'm not gonna spoil the end, but it's the second to last video of the series. I decided to cram the rest of the footage into these last videos because of TOA release, so I can potentially make some videos about that without falling too much behind. I hope that's okay with everybody. And as always, thanks for watching.